Hello students, today we are going to study about selectors in CSS. Before starting with this topic, let's quickly recall what we have studied last time. Here we have some fill in the blanks. Students try to answer the blanks. The first one, CSS stands for. Answer is Cascading Style Sheet. Next, CSS syntax consists of dash and dash. The answer is a selector and declaration block. Next one. Declaration consists of dash pair. The answer is property and value pair. Next one. A property and value in the declaration are separated by. Answer is a colon. Next one. Each declaration is separated by. Answer is a semicolon. Next one. CSS can be added to an HTML page in three ways. Dash, dash and dash. Next one. The answer is inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS. Next one. In inline CSS, dash attribute of HTML tag is used. The answer is style attribute. Next, in internal CSS, dash tag is used in head section. Answer is style tag. Students, remember, whenever you are asked to write a tag in the fill in the blank, at that time the angle brackets are mandatory. If you forget the angle brackets, you will not get any marks. Next one, in external CSS, two files are created with extension dash and dash. Answer is .css file and .html file. Next, .css file is linked to HTML page using dash tag in head section. Answer is link tag. Again, over here, this is a tag. It is enclosed in angle brackets. Next one. Link tag has dash, dash and dash attributes. Answer is rel, type and href. This is what we have done last time. Now we are going to start with selectors. Last time we have seen that the selectors that we are using, they can be any tag, any HTML tag. But there are different ways of defining the selectors also. So let's see, the first way is using a class selector. So class selector is used for formatting different instances of a single element. The class selector selects HTML element with specific class attribute. Whenever you are writing the tag, you write attribute class. Class equal to class name. All the elements having that class will be formatted according to the style. Now what happens over here is, if I have, say, in my page 5 h1 tag, but I do not want to apply the style to all of the h1 tags. I want to apply the style only to one of the h1 tags. In that case, I can use my class attribute. And similarly, if I have, say, a h1 tag and paragraph tag, they both need the same styling. So in that case also, you can specify the class attribute for h1 and class attribute for p tag. The class name for both of them must be same. Okay, so the class is indicated by a period or a full stop. The class selector definition, it starts with a period, that is a dot, followed by name of the class and then the style definition. Here we have an example, dot ABC, and in the curly brackets we have a style definition. Over here, dot or the period, it is indicating that it is a class. ABC is name of the class and in curly brackets is the style definition. The class name can never start with a number. It always has to start with some alphabet. Okay. So let's see one program related to this. This is the class selector. Here. HTML, head, title, close the title, style. Now style tag is used inside head section. It means we are using internal CSS. Okay. Over here, dot. Dot indicates class. C1 is name of the class. In double quotes, we have the style definition. Style definition used over here is background color is light blue. Then we have H1 tag and P tag. H1 is given some style. P is also given some style. Coming to the body section, H1 class over here. See, this is the attribute class equal to class name. In double quotes, you have to write name of the class. Same name you have to write it over here. And also to other attributes wherever you want the style to be applied. So this is going to have class. Then we have a paragraph. This paragraph is also going to get the definition which is defined in the class. Then we have one more H1 over here. This heading does not use class attribute. So it will not get the background color. Let's see. Opening it in one of the browsers. So here this is the first heading using class. So it has background color as light blue. Then we have the paragraph. Paragraph is also using class. So this is also getting the same light blue color. And over here, the next one, the next H1, it is not using class. So you can see it does not have any background color. It only applies this definition. Okay. So whenever you are using a class, you can define it to multiple tags. It can be for H1, it can be for P, for body, wherever you need to apply that definition. Okay. So this is what class is going to do. You all can apply the same definition for different tags. You can select the tags according to the presentation that you want. Remember that it starts with a dot, class name and the style definition. Okay. Now this is all about your class. Coming back over here. Next one. Next is ID selector. ID selector is similar to the class selector. Difference over here is ID is unique. So that means one page will have only one unique ID. Okay. So the ID selector selects the ID element to a specific element. Wherever that ID is used, wherever the attribute ID is used, over there it is going to apply the style. You can define one ID once in the page. You cannot repeat the ID. ID is unique for that particular page. Then ID is indicated by a hash. ID selector definition. It starts with a hash followed by the name of the ID, then style definition. Example, hash ABC, and enclosed in double quotes is the style definition. Over here, hash is going to be the ID, is indicating the ID. ABC is name of the ID. Then in double quotes, in curly brackets, we have our style definition. So ID is going to be only one. Class can be given to multiple tags, but ID cannot be given to multiple tags. It is a unique element. It is going to be defined only once in the page. Let's see one example related to ID also. Here. Style. Hash P1 background color is black. Then H1 and P, they have their own individual style definitions. H1 not using any ID. P is using the ID P1. Over here again, the same ID must be written. Whatever name you are assigning it over here, same name you have to specify in the style definition. The name cannot start with a number. It always has to start with some alphabet. You can give any IDs, para 1, para 2, my para, but it should start with the alphabet. Let's see the execution of this. Here, ID selector, this is a H1. So whatever style is written for H1, it is going to get that style. Over here, for P, we have written ID. Background color is black. Over here, background color is black. ID is getting the style definition which is given over here. Now, next one is grouping selectors. This is a very easy topic. The grouping selectors is used to select all the definitions, all the elements which have same style definitions. If I have H1, H2, H3 using same style, then I can combine them together using a comma. It is used to minimize the code. Commas are used to separate each selector in the grouping. Now what happens without the grouping? Without the grouping, H1 font family, text align. H2 font family, text align. You can see the values are also same over here. The property is same, value is same. H3 font family, Times New Roman, text align, center. So all three of them, they have same properties with same values. So it can be grouped as H1, H2, H3 and the style definition written once. So in this way you can minimize the code. Let's see one program related to this, grouping selectors. Here, body is given, background color is grey, then H1, H2, H3. So three tags, H1, H2, H3, they are going to get same style, which is text align center, color is orange. Using style tag, head tag, body, H1, H2, H3. And there is one paragraph. This paragraph has no style. Opening this over here. H1, H2, H3. They are having text alignment as center and color is orange. Now what will happen? Instead of H3 we have P. As you are going to expect, H1, H2 and this paragraph, it is going to get the style. H3 will not have the style. I will refresh the page here. H1, H2, P. They are getting this style and this H3 is not getting any style because it is not defined. So this grouping selectors is quite easy. Whichever tags you have that need same type of formatting, same type of styling, you can just use comma in between and you will get your style. Okay, next one. Next one is universal selector. The universal selector is used as a wildcard character. It selects all the elements in the page and it is indicated by an asterisk sign. So wherever you are going to write asterisk and the style definition, that definition is going to be applied to all the tags which are present in your HTML document. Let's just quickly go through the example here. We have given style, asterisk, text align center, font style, italics. Here CSS you can see is written without any tag. It is just a text written like this, universal selector and CSS. Now this CSS, if you will observe, is also enclosed in the body section. So here this asterisk is applying to body, H1, H2, P, any different tags that are present in the body, it is going to apply to this. That is why all the text which is there over here. We have text align is center and font style is italics. So universal selector is indicated by asterisk. It indicates all the elements in your page. Whatever elements you are using, they are included in this symbol. So this is about your selectors. Just let's quickly go through. Class selectors can be used for multiple tags, multiple elements, and it is indicated by a period or a dot. Next, ID selector, only one in the page. You cannot have multiple IDs. It is indicated by a hash. Next, grouping selectors. If we need same style for different elements, you can use comma in between and use. Next, universal selector indicated by an asterisk symbol. It means all the elements which are present in your web page. Okay, so this is all about that we have for selectors in your CSS. Okay, thank you students.